Police commence investigation into mysterious deaths of cows in Ondo. You know what? I'm just not even going to get in because it's the audacity. I'm not gonna get upset. No, it's not worth my emotions. Absolutely not. Because the fact is, so they're more proactive in wow. So when people actually say that the value of the cow's life is actually higher than human life in the country, this is what they mean. Because you cannot tell me that they're this proactive to find out why cows are dying. The Ondo State Police Command says it's investigating the cause of the recent death of some cows in Akoko, southwest local government area of the state. Sahara reporters had reported that 50 cows, just 50, not that cows should die or anything, but really. So these 50 cows died in mysterious circumstances and on Monday, and this is Wednesday, and they're proactive in trying to commence, investigation. Okay. The cows belonging to Ibrahim Saliu, of course, were rumored to have been poisoned. You see, this is the thing, and I think this is where the bias towards Northerners come in. I mean, it's not like we're blaming Northerners, we're blaming the government, of course, but it's like, so when it comes to Northerners and their cows, now the government wants to be proactive. They want to start acting like as if forming busy. That's what they want to do. Because it definitely shows that there's a bias. Because it's a bit too proactive in comparison to the other cases. I mean, come on. People were killed. People were killed in the NSAS protest and nothing was done about it. They literally made a fake committee, appointed people, and basically with some sort of marketing strategy made it seem like as if they were proactive and trying to reach to a goal. In reality, they weren't. But then just 2 days after, these mysterious cows died. I mean, the fact is these cows are not like they're not worth anything. So it's like, if you're gonna be offended by that, you really need to go check yourself. That's my opinion. The spokesperson for the State Police Command, DSP T. Loco Ekoro, confirmed the incident. He noted that the cows were poisoned by water, adding that further investigation into the matter had commenced. In 2019, about 36 cows were reportedly killed by a thunderstorm. So how does this relate? So community leaders suggested that the disaster was due to the desecration of a sacred shrine by Fulani herders who had intruded the shrine of the ancient deity. Despite the supernatural interpretation by traditionalists, the police said that the thunderstorm killed the cows was natural. It was gathered that the cows were struck dead. Okay, really, no one cares. Like, really. I think the fact is just that, as Nigerians, you're not worth anything to your government. And I think it's alarming, but again, no one is reacting, no one is doing anything. And the fact is, if you're choosing to not react or choosing to be ignorant, that is your fault. I think so. I think that I understand that, yes, our society has deteriorated. We're all trying to be self-preservative and all that. But if you're not speaking up or active on matters like this, you should be ashamed and be very embarrassed. Yes, I'm attacking you. Yes, I am. I'm talking to you. That you're not doing anything about it. You're not trying to raise awareness amongst your own communities, trying to sign petitions or just plan something or just have conversations with people to change their mentality. Because honestly, that is the biggest problem. That is really the biggest problem, the mentality of, not saying things and reacting in a way that it should. Because again, we have to understand, because of the context and the way we live in Nigeria, our mentality is very abnormal. Why? Because the life that we're living is abnormal. So it is bound that we would have abnormal mindsets and lack of exposure as well and other things. So yes, we need to talk about this. And if you're going to choose, because at the end of the day, you can't choose to work hard, save your money. So what? Because if the currency just goes down, the value goes down, then it's worth nothing. If you're not safe, you're not secure, what is the point of even living? That is the point. So it's like, if you're not gonna, have conversations, try to make people aware of how violate, or Nigerians specifically, of how violated that they are and how they should actually, it's word of mouth. We need to have conversations like this so people actually know, because again, it's all a mental thing. If we do not choose, it's an individual thing. If we do not choose to come together or just find logic in our minds, just if it's logical that, this is not normal and we have to fight against it, and it's a general thing and it's a mass, conversational kind of thing, I think change will happen, and it will be easier to at least think of, okay, going to go and protest. if you understand what I mean. So yeah, I think that if you're choosing as a Nigerian not to be passionate about these topics, not to have conversations about these topics, not to try and debunk, deconstruct certain mentalities that you have built up till now, you should be ashamed and very embarrassed, and you should be disappointed in yourself. That's what I think. Argue with me in the comment section. Someone says the government is a sheer mediocrity. Okay, animals are now more important than humans in Nigeria. That is a fact. So again, if we've gotten to this stage where it gets to a point, I understand that, yes, as a people, we have to understand that we've been conditioned to think a certain way, but again, it's your choice. They didn't put a gun to your hand to think a certain way. Second of all, yes, you can argue that in a way where a set of traumatized people who are just living on vibes and coping mechanisms, be it drugs, be it Nollywood, be it whatever it is, we are just a set of people coping because we are very traumatized. We're coping on vibes and religion and other things that are coping mechanisms. But the fact is, we can understand that can be a deterrent as to why you choose to be ignorant or not sort of tackle certain issues. But then again, as much as you might be traumatized or you make excuses for that, it is still a choice. You are choosing to be quiet, you're choosing to be ignorant. You cannot choose to do these things. Like, you actually cannot, because again, we're all gonna die one day, and if you're gonna die and leave a country, your country, in a state that is not conducive, because at this point we should just decide that, we're not gonna have children, because there's no point in living this kind of, or not fighting to our best ability to try to change what the circumstance is in the country. Because the fact is, not everybody will leave, not everybody will go to the diaspora or anywhere to start a new life or anything. It's unrealistic to think that that's going to happen with every single Nigerian. So it just is what it is, and that's what I think. Somebody says, instead of everyday killings, why don't we pathways peacefully? Well, it is very, very, it's difficult. I think at the end of the day, whatever we choose to do to progress will be very, very difficult, because we would have to stop choosing to be miserable and rather be uncomfortable, because then being uncomfortable requires us to actually tackle issues. But the fact remains that it will be very, very tough. If we decide to stay together, there's a lot of work and restructuring to do. We need to have a family meeting and be like, what kind of life do we want to live? And if we want to separate, it is a bold assumption for us to assume that Nigerians only are the stakeholders. Let that sink in. I will say it again. If we want to separate, it is very bold to assume that Nigerians only are the stakeholders. That's what I think. Put what you think about this in the comment section below, and do not forget to like and also subscribe. It really helps.